Good evening, audience. I'm Bakarr Toure from Sierra Leone. First, I would like to say Makupenda Mama Africa. Love you from my heart. Jai Shri Ram. Joy Krishna. Okay. Bharat Mataki. Bharat Mataki. Okay, first, permit me to recognize the presence of my honorable mentor, S.K. Nadia. Permit me also to recognize a favorite prince of Rag Court. You have always been my mentor. Permit me to recognize the presence of ICCR Director. Through their blessings, millions of us are here, especially to the Honorable Director, Mr. Surrender Kumar, and Jogis Bhai with the team. So I'm here to tell our own side of the story. So I am here to analyze the history which was written with blood. The history of slave trade, colonizations were written with blood. And you cannot wipe that history written with blood with a propaganda written in the ink. So yes, indeed, since the lion have not tell his own story, the hunter is always right. So we are here to analyze our own story and let them know that countries like United States, Russia, China, they cannot be trusted with diplomatic relations. What is our own stance as an Africa to challenge them and serve as a global player? So in relation to this, we have to go back to the drawing board and see why the colonial masters are still in Africa but absent in India. What went wrong? In the current regime where we are currently, we have two blocks. The Western Bloc, headed by United States, with its apprentice European Union. They have been looted us for so long. The Eastern Bloc is headed by Russia with emergency to China and India. But the questions arise. We are not fighting for continuity of white supremacy over the black majority as a Pan-Africanist, but we are fighting for equality, the same equality Prince is crying for. We want to wake up and we realize that cultural diversity is the solution to global peace. Tolerance and diversity is what we need. We are all humans until breaches and Spanish inquisitions arises. So in this note, we are going to look again what actually happens, what were the reasons, why were we divided. These books also look into like how we are divided, how we are partitions, what was the motive of slave trade. Now, after slave trade, they enslaved us. We worked for them, and we are used. After slave trade now, they decided, okay, let's take them back to their countries. And steal their resources in their countries, use them. This time, they are not taking us to their own country, but they are coming to our country, use them. But Gandhiji stood up and said, no, through literature ability in his book called Hindi Swaraj. He told them the leadership of Britain was established based on the cooperations of the Indians. If they stop cooperating, colonialism will collapse. And that is true literature. We all see what was happening. And we see Jawaharlal Nehru on the other side and Netaji on the other side. So in this particular scene, we actually see Netaji asking blood in exchange of freedom, which for Africa, we have used the narrow way, but it's not working. Gandhi way is not working. Now we as Pan-Africanists now, we are looking, what is our fault? What are the things that we lack? We realize that there are weapons. And at least, even if I will not go down with some of these weapons, at least permit me to tell you some of these weapons that were actually destroying us as Africans. So one of these weapons is food as weapon. So this food as weapon is American agro-business, which they are using, which is going together with their diplomatic policy. They will force a particular country. You know what? You produce foods that we want you to produce. Of course, we need to export, yes, but what we need to export to them is what? Is masala from India, Beni and Kenda from Sierra Leone, not staple food, rice. We already see in India here what the Bangalore famine, what happened. It was never a food shortage. So we want to export indeed. We want to invest in a country which a high percentage of rainfall, countries that have a very stable structures, country that depends in agriculture should not be suffering again for food. And we think most of these developing on a developing country, we need to export, but what we need to export is machinery. Yes, we need to export machinery, but not staple food. But what is preventing us from exporting those things is because of what? United States agro-business, which they started after losing the Veteran War. So if you see some of those weapons, they are indivisible for ordinary humans. How to reveal them is through literature. So in this note, and we have education as weapon. During this education as weapons, they train us as an administrator. When Lord Macaulay visited here, he said, I want someone that we can educate and employ them. So they are building administrators, not innovators. So if we continue to do the education as weapon, we need to look into it. The same white man that introduced to us Bible and interpret it in various languages need to go back to Africa and interpret chemistry, physics, accounting in those various languages. So we have food. We have also currency as weapon. The last one here is Chinese loan trap. Most of African countries today are suffering from Chinese loan trap. Not only Africa, but sub-Asian countries. This Chinese loan trap, they will go and build stadium road with a high loan percentage and illustrating money from us. So that is just some summary part of what you'll be expecting in these books. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much for your audience again. So, any questions from what we are here or in relation to geopolitics?
Anybody has any question, please?
Yeah.
Does Africa stand to benefit more from different like China, the West, and Russia? Thank you.
Yes. So, the question is trying to say what will Africa benefit from the trade relationship with China, Russia, and USA? Africa has nothing to benefit from them because Africa needs to develop its own natural resources, which is natural resources as weapon because they cannot be manufacturing what they are manufacturing without Africa. So all the natural resources. The natural resources of United States is Africa. They don't have natural. They have gold components, which they are not even producing a single gold. So their own natural resources is Africa. Thank you very much for that. Any other question?
I was saying that they are good at manufacturing some weapons, but we are good at using them. So which ones should we base on to be in the field also to fight them? Because we don't have to be watching and talking only, we have to act. Which one should we base on?
So in that, like I can just reference you that there is no country in Africa where they manufacture weapons. 90% of the weapons in the world today, even the nuclear weapons, they are from Russia and the United States. 90% of the coal needed in the world is being headed by KGB and Wagner from Russia and CIA from United States. Thank you very much. The last question, please. Last question. Oh, okay.
Abu Bakarr, I wanted to ask you one question. As a geopolitical author, what do you think is the cause and the solution of the ongoing conflict at the Middle East between Palestine and Israel?
Okay, a very nice question. Please permit me to use seconds to answer this question. So first, you have to know there is a war between Middle East, between Israel and Palestine. Let me tell you the cause of this problem, right? Gaza, they are fighting for. Recently, I heard that Israel have signed a oil deal with European Union. And in this particular sense, in this particular territory owned by Israel, there is no oil there. So they just hit this conflict for them to take over Gaza where this oil is. So it is a oil war.
I would like to request Uma Shankar sir to present mementos as a thankful gift to the speakers of this session. Indeed, we truly learned that literature is nothing but the essence to say the truth patiently and passionately, no matter if it stings to anyone. It is the tale of being determined. As Avtar Singh Sandhu Pash once quoted, "मैं घास हूँ, तुम्हारे हर किए धरे पर उगाऊंगा." Thank you.